After a big win a night ago for the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Boston Bruins at Scotiabank Arena, we quickly realized, oh wait, now they have to hit the road to take on the Carolina Hurricanes, who are waiting for the Leafs to show up, and it's a 5 o'clock puck drop? Not a good, doesn't look good to me. Then we hear Samsonov's going to be out. He's on the IR. So Eric Källgren's your starting goaltender for the foreseeable future. And Keith Petruzzelli gets an NHL contract. Not what we expected to see. But here we are. Everything. I mean, Källgren would have started this game anyways, right? Because Samsonov would have finished off the last game, and then he would have played the second night of a back-to-back. So he was going to play this game anyways. But it's the premise of it, right? So everything, right, going the other way of the Leafs. And I'm thinking about this. I'm like, watch, the Leafs are going to win this game. Everything's going against them. They'll find a way. And boy, do they ever. They win 3-1 over the Carolina Hurricanes in Carolina. And I learned very quickly about why Leaf fans wanted Frederik Andersen gone. Nothing against Freddie. Nothing against his statistics because, hey, he's a good goaltender. We know that. But what we forget is the stinkers that go in. And that third goal, which I will be putting a clip up for once I talk about it, was a stinker. And it was a big point of the hockey game, too. Let's break this thing down. First period. It's not looking pretty early on. They get an early power play, right? And then Noesen scores 8-11 in, and you're down 1-0. You're getting outplayed. It's not looking pretty start for the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? You're getting outplayed early. Shots and goal in the first were 11-4 in favor of the Carolina Hurricanes. They outplay the Leafs basically the entire period. You're only down 1-0, though. That's really the only positive you could take away from that. But I thought about this, and I think I heard, was it Chris Versteeg say on the JD Bunkus podcast? I can't remember where I heard it. But it was something like, on the second night of a back-to-back, you know, you always think, oh, third period, your legs are dead, right? Because it's the second night of a back-to-back, you're playing 6 periods, you're just tired. But he said, I believe it was, I could be wrong, I could be totally misleading, but it makes sense. The first period of the second night of a back-to-back is the toughest. And people are thinking, okay, well, why is that? Well, you're traveling. You don't have time for a morning skate. As Carolina definitely had a morning skate, so they were ready and raring to go. The Leafs didn't have that. Because they probably got in fairly late last night, so they didn't have a morning skate. They get up. So really, when they touch the ice for warm-up, that's really the first time they get a chance. So they come out slow, which in hindsight makes sense. Once they get their legs going, they're okay. And that's really how this game played out, right? First period, they don't play very well. They look slow. Carolina all over them. It's the reason they led the league in shots the last 2 years. They just fired the thing from damn near anywhere. And in the second period, maybe for the first few minutes, Carolina, dominated play a tad bit, but then the Leafs just flipped the switch. But they weren't getting the grade A opportunities. They were getting some opportunities, but they weren't quality chances. And I'm thinking, man, with Frederik Andersen in the net, it's going to be tough, right? It's going to be tough to score these goals if you're not getting high quality opportunities. Forgetting that Freddie and the soft goals thing occurs usually. And late in the period, right, I'm just thinking, okay, I'm just watching the game. You're down 1-0. You're not really getting many glorious opportunities. But then the puck goes around the boards, and it gets about on the half boards, about the circle. Justin Hall picks up and gets rocked. But as he's getting rocked, he chips the puck down low to Pierre Engvall. Take a hit to make a play. You love to see it. And as Engvall picks the puck up, his head goes up, and who's curling at about the top of the circle? Calle Jarnkrok, the 4-year man. And he gets the pass from Engvall and doesn't waste any time, stops it, gathers, rips it, far side top cheese corner on Frederik Andersen, and the Leafs have tied the game at 1. Jarnkrok from Engvall and Hall at 18:30 with $1:30 to go in the period. The Leafs have tied the game. And I was jacked about this because I'm thinking, look, if the fellas can just get me a point, if we can just get a point out of this scenario, the back-to-back, all the things looking the other way, that would be massive. On the road in Carolina, it would be huge. Shots and goal in the second period were 12-8 in favor of the Leafs. They dominated the second half of that second period. And it, brings up that thing again where you don't start on time because you didn't have the morning skate once they get their legs going after one period of play. it makes sense that they're in the groove in the second. And they do, and they win the period 1-0. Shout out Eric Shelgren for making all 8 stops there in the second period. And we go to the third. And a couple of these goals were nice. The Leafs enter the zone. Nick Robertson has the puck, and he's got Mitch Marner on his right. Tries to pass it across. It gets knocked down by the defender, but it's not stopped by the defender. It goes to Mitch Marner, but not very quickly. So Mitch Marner with one hand on the stick, knocks it between the defenseman's legs, gets after it, picks up the puck. John Tavares is cruising right down Main Street, right to the front of the net. Beautiful feed for Mitch Marner, and John Tavares buries it. This goal is at 8:24 the third period, and it gives the Leafs the lead with like 12 minutes to go, and we're sitting here like, we might actually win this game. But we're Leaf fans, so we don't get too excited yet. And John Tavares with that goal, that is goal number 399 in his career. So congrats JT for that, and hopefully he gets number 400 on Tuesday against Vegas at Scotiabank Arena. That would be a nice thing for him. But more importantly, the Leafs got the lead. Marner, Robertson grab assist in the goal at 8:24 the third period. But I'm thinking to myself, 11 and a half to play. Just hang in there, fellas. But they don't stop. The Leafs do an incredible job. There's no opportunities for Carolina to kind of get in the zone and set up and really work the puck around, cycle up, have possession of the puck. They really didn't have much. Every time they got in the zone, Leafs are turning it over and going the other way. And they're playing, that's what usually happens to the Leafs, getting turned over and going the other way. And one of those times, it led to a goal. Kind of on the half boards there, right? I think it was Kerfoot and Matthews, because the line changes did occur, and we'll talk about that shortly from Sheldon Keefe. Kerfoot and Matthews on the half boards, and this is where I'm going to put the clip in right about here, as usual. And Matthews flips it out of his own zone, kind of sauces it out of his own zone, just kind of get it out of the air, right? William Nylander's kind of streaking up. You can see him as he's getting to the blue line, kind of getting closer and closer, and he knocks it down with one hand on the stick. I don't know what it was today with guys with one hand on their stick, but it seemed to work. And he knocks it down with one hand on the stick. Then, before he even touches the puck again, with that same one hand on the stick, chips it around Jacob Slavin and chases after it. Now, Willie's definitely got the speed over Slavin. However, Slavin's got the size and he's got the positioning, and he's just a sound defender. So this might be a tricky one for Nylander, more or less just to get the puck down the ice, right? You like to see it, no icing, good stuff. Well, Nylander chases after him, stick lifts Jacob Slavin, and Slavin kind of gets past the puck a little bit. It hits Nylander's skate. It goes closer to the net. Nylander might have got a hair of his stick on the puck, where it's right in front of the net, and it slides right through Frederik Andersen. And the Leafs got a 3-1 lead. The reason I put this clip here is because how many times have we talked about effort? We could have seen Willie just chip the puck down and go for a line changer, just kind of cruise as Jacob Slavin's going to get the puck in his own zone and wait for him to break it out and then kind of play defense, right? But no, Willie tries to battle with this guy, wins the puck battle, and somehow, some way, it squeaks through Frederik Andersen. Effort and strong on the puck. You love to see it. It's beautiful. And the Leafs, after that, you're going to get an onslaught from the Carolina Hurricanes. They pulled the goalie with about 2.5 minutes to go. So you're going to get a lot of pressure. Well, the Leafs don't allow any zone time. They allow nothing from the Carolina Hurricanes. They had a few opportunities here and there, but Eric Shelgren makes the stops he's supposed to make. And the Leafs win it 3-1 over the Carolina Hurricanes in Carolina. And are now 7-4-2 on the year. They've won 3 straight. They've beaten 2 of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible how this whole script has just flipped. But you also got to shout out Sheldon Keefe. You have to. Because, we talked about it. Early going to the game, they didn't have their legs. Probably for about the first half of the game, they didn't have their legs. And I was listening to JD Bunk's podcast. When I'm working, I got the AirPod in, right? And I'm just listening to all kinds of podcasts, whatnot. Shout out Will Lou and Alex Wong on the Raptor Show and JD and all that stuff. He made a really good point, saying that, we've seen all kinds of moves. We've seen Kerfoot go up a line. We've seen Yarncroc move. We've seen all these kinds of moves. The one move you haven't seen is Marner and Matthews get exchanged. And once that happened, once he actually made that change midway through this hockey game, the game flipped. Who assisted Tavares' 399th goal? Mitch Marner. Who assisted Nylander's third goal of the game? Well, the third goal of the game at Nylander's first. Austin Matthews. Very interesting that Sheldon Keefe makes that bold move, taking off best buddies and the line mates to make a point, and they go out there and they score 3 unanswered goals against the Carolina Hurricanes on the road, and they pull out the victory. Great job from Sheldon Keefe, and a hell of a job from the Leafs to respond. Eric Källgren cannot be talked about enough. You know, last year he got thrown in the fire and is like, hey, you're the guy, help us stay afloat. And he's been thrown in that exact same scenario now with, obviously, Matt Murray still on the shelf, and we don't know how severe the Samsonov stuff is. So Källgren, it's your net right now, buddy. And he did a hell of a job. A goal on 30 shots, was really sound in the net. The rebound control was all right. Again, nothing really in the middle of the ice, and that's the important part for Källgren. He's okay. I'm okay with rebounds to the corners, to the sides. That's fine. Nothing in the middle of the ice. He did a really good job, and the Leafs did a phenomenal job not allowing second and third opportunities because those are the ones that usually get buried. Really nice job. Shots on goal in the third period were actually 11-5 in favor of Carolina, and for the game it was 30-21. But it doesn't matter because the Leafs won it 3-1. And I mentioned off the top, guys, right? That Frederik Andersen, I said it in our Discord chat. By the way, check it out in the description. We're having a great chat during the game. Raptor game, Leaf game, Jays game, whatever. And I totally lost my thought. Outstanding. Outstanding. Total brain fart. Gone. Anyways. Special teams-wise, just total lost. The Leafs were 0-for-1 on the power play that they got, and Carolina was 1-for-2 on their power play. So again, special teams-wise, they won the battle on the special teams, but it doesn't matter. It's what goes in the net that matters. Oh, yes, I remember what I was going to say. Now, Frederik Andersen. Yeah, every time I see him go against the Leafs and I see his numbers and I see how good Carolina's doing, and I'm like, man, I miss that horse that we used to have in the net going out there and just doing a job for your team, right? Every like 60 games a year. That you know who's going to start. Missed that because we had to deal with the Campbell scenario last year and the Mrazek stuff. And so far this year, it's been, all kinds of different nonsense with Ilya Samsonov and Matt Murray and now Eric Källgren. And I miss the 60-game guy we used to have with Freddie Andersen. But then I watched this game and I'm like, the only real golden opportunities the Leafs had, they buried on all of them. And then Frederik Andersen giving up a stinker. And I'm like, oh, right. That's why we didn't want him around. Because those stinkers happen in big moments. That goal happened with under 5 to play. And it was a 1-goal game. He makes that stop. It's still a 1-goal game. And they have a chance to tie it. But no, that basically ices the game. Huge moment. And Freddie chokes. Anyways. Next up for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Because, hey, keep moving forward. You got another top team. Because why not? But you know what? I can't complain about that because the Leafs had their soft schedule and they blew it. You come home and you don't play till Tuesday. So you have the off day tomorrow and then you take on the Vegas Golden Knights on Tuesday. They have won 7 straight. They're 11-2 on the season. They're playing extremely well, but the Leafs have now won 3 straight and they've beaten 2 top teams. It's going to be a dogfight there Tuesday at Scotiabank Arena between the Leafs and the Golden Knights. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh my God, this video is going so long. But there's so much to talk about, all right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and you guys enjoyed the game tonight, because it was entertaining, kind of shocking at times, and you love the effort. Smack the like button, do appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button. You guys not already, comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the game. What'd you like, what'd you not like from today's game for the Toronto Maple Leafs? The Twitter link is down below, so follow up, send me a DM to that great stuff. The Instagram link is also down below, so follow up there if you guys have not done so already. And I will talk to you guys Raptors Vision very shortly. A big-time W tonight over the Chicago Bulls at Scotiabank Arena. All right, so we'll talk about that very shortly. And as for the Toronto Maple Leafs, on Tuesday, as they host the Vegas Golden Knights at Scotiabank Arena. 7 p.m. puck drop there, looking for number 4 in a row. And it would be a great one against another top team in the NHL. All right, so thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and the game tonight. We'll talk to you guys then.